Hi everyone, welcome to strength video. This is week 2, session 2. So it's a lower body session, so it's purely focused on lower body, bit of core work in there as well. Okay, so going to be starting off with some tempo squats, 4 sets of tempo squats. Then we've got a superset of Russian swings and step ups, and then we're going to finish off with some high volume. Just working through some cyclist squats and sit-ups. Okay, so just going through the movements and key things that we're looking for on these. So starting off with your tempo squats. Okay, so movement first of all. If you've just got a single load, dumbbell or kettlebell, you can just work from a goblet position. You can offset it on one side if you want to. Okay, make it a little bit more challenging. And then we're just looking for 5 to 8 reps. And the tempo is going to be 5 seconds down, so slow eccentric, 3 second pause in the bottom, and then we're going to drive up and then just reset at the top. So that's a 5-3-X1 tempo. Okay, so what we're looking for is just quality position, constant movement, but just super slow on the way down for 5 seconds. Once you get bottom position, we're going to hold for 3, under tension, nice and solid. Drive up and then reset, so we can breathe at the top and then go again. Okay, so 5 down, keep your torso upright and that weight back in the bottom position, and then drive up. Okay, so just by adding that tempo, imagine mostly working with weights that they're fairly comfortable with for squatting, so we're just going to increase that time under tension and make them a bit more challenging. Okay, so 4 sets there, 5 to 8 reps. Then you're going to move on to a superset of swings and step-ups. Okay, so for the swings, you can do these with a kettlebell or a dumbbell, and depending what weight you've got, you can play around with a single arm or just doing them in 2 arms, 2 hands. Okay, so whatever movement you're doing, like single arm, double arm, dumbbell or kettlebell, the positions are going to be the same. So we're focusing on this nice hip hinge and then a really powerful hip drive coming forward. Okay, so good strong back, powerful drive through the hips. Keep the feet planted, and in that top position, you really want to extend, squeeze your butt, make sure your feet are planted, all the way it's sort of sitting back into your heels, but not hyperextended. Okay, so you can do 2-handed swing, we can go with a single arm swing. Okay, but obviously still getting both legs sort of full. A lot of hips involved, it's just the weights in one arm. And then if you're going with a dumbbell, what we're looking for is to try and get as much weight as possible away from the hands. So rather than holding the handle, if you hold like one head of the dumbbell, and then the weight at the other end sits further out, and that makes these dynamic movements a lot more productive. So you can get like almost like a kettlebell swing, driving through there, or a single arm variation, driving through. Okay, so 10 to 15 reps in there. We could distribute those 10 to 15 between each arm. Okay, and then you're going to superset that with some step-ups. Do your step-ups. You just want something to step up to, so nice and solid. The higher the step is, the harder the exercise is going to be. So you can judge that by, as a rough guide, if you step on something, you think where your hip is relative to your knee. Ideally we want parallel. The higher you go, if you get higher step, you're going to be going from sort of a low parallel position, that's going to become more challenging. Okay, so you can play around with the height to change the difficulty, and then obviously the weight, if you've got weight options, you can play around with those. Okay, so 5 to 8 each leg. What we're looking for on these, so again, if you've just got goblet position, you can play around with that. Again, offset it, maybe even try overhead if you're really comfortable with the positions and the movement. And then we're just going to keep our working leg on the box for the set. Okay, so right leg's leading, I'm going to get as little drive as possible off my back leg, off my left leg. Keep my torso upright and just drive up, lock out, and then control that descent. Just drive, lock out, and back down. And what we're looking for is try and make sure that lead leg drive up, locks out before the trailing leg touches the box. So we're just using that trail leg for a bit of stability at the top, not to generate force into the movement. Okay, so 5 to 8 on one leg, 5 to 8 on the other. So you've got your swings into your step-ups, then go into a bit of rest, repeat that for 4 sets. And then the last part, we've got a little pairing, so cycler squats and sit-ups. You're going to work for 40 seconds at a time, so 40 seconds on one exercise, 20 seconds rest. Okay, and then 40 seconds on the opposite exercise, 20 seconds rest. Okay, so we'll be starting a new movement every minute. We can do 6 rounds of that, so there's a lot of volume in there. Okay, so for your cycler squats, legs have done a lot of work by this point, and we just want to focus on building some volume from a pretty strong position. So main focus with our cycler squats, rather than maybe that wide stance where you would normally go, we're going to bring the feet in, maybe even to like hip width or narrower. Okay, and we're just going to elevate our heels a little bit. That's going to allow us to get slightly deeper squat and make the exercise a bit more quad dominant. Okay, so I'm just going to put my heels on a raised surface, it's just about an inch height, so that's enough to make a decent difference in a narrow stance. Goblet position, okay, and then what I want to do is make sure my heels keep driving into the plate or the raised surface, and the balls of my feet keep driving into the floor. Okay, and then from there, it's good position, nice deep squat. Still keeping that back strong, and we're just repping out those squats. 40 seconds, you should get like a real good quad burn on through those. Okay, so try and keep hold of the weight. If you need to stop, you just stop at the top, get a little breather, and then carry on. So you can keep going for 40 seconds. Okay, 20 seconds rest, and then just some sit-ups on the opposing one, on the opposing minute. So you can use your arms in there if you want to, okay, for a bit of momentum, or we can go with a strict sit-up. Make them a little bit harder, or bring the arms back, make that a bit harder still, so there's no arm swing. I'm just really focusing on your abs. Okay, yeah, so that's the session. Enjoy that one. That's week 2, session 2. Cheers.